Hi everyone, Ryan Ragland with you alongside Kevin Duncan with another edition of Dunk and Rag. And yeah, this is going to be a good show because we've already had our pre-show meeting and yeah, we're all ready for a few brews, we're all ready for a few appetizers, and we've already been promised that someone's going to have to be on the best behavior. So I guess the room on that will be yet to be determined. As I said, this is Duncan Rags, and we're just getting everyone together to let everyone know the history of the area, the bowling, and try to get the stories out there and everything documented and things ready to go. And make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the share button. And if we get enough subscribers, what are we at, Kevin? I think we're at 95, 6, 7, something like that. We're getting close.
Yeah, 95 when I last checked. So hopefully we get to 100 by the end of the show. And we'll give away a free Storm bowling ball of your choice.
I'll take an Axiom, thank you.
There you go.
You know what? I don't know. I've been thinking about I've been debating between the Axiom and the nuclear. I've been kind of.
They're two different roles, so I think I think you could use both.
Or you're game on the Wild Streak too, so I'm.
Yeah, I'm big on that ball.
You give me any of the three, and I'm not going to give it back to you. We'll just put it that way. So,
all right.
As I said, we got a great show coming up today, and Kevin, I'm going to let you go ahead and take a hold of this. A good friend of yours, and I have a feeling this is someone that a friend I haven't met yet. So I have a feeling this is going to be good, and I'm already at the point where I'm going to have to go to St. Louis and meet her and just go bowling, have a few beers, and have fun from everything it sounds. So I'll let you take over.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it. Jen, thanks for being on the show. You have a really impressive bowling resume. Just quickly go through that, and then we'll get started here. But 2006 Intercollegiate National Team Championship with Lindenwood University. Mm-hmm. Awesome. I think you're our first collegiate champion on the show, so you're setting the bar there. TNBA Rodman champion.
Yeah, that was a big one.
I couldn't find what year that was. Was that recent?
2005.
2005.
Pretty sure. No, 15. Sorry.
15. Yeah, so not too long ago. St. Louis Bowler of the Year, and I believe that was both men and women. Is that right? And you was the one?
No, that was just the women.
Just the women's side? Okay.
Yeah, that's 3 times now, I think.
3 times?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had multiple written down, but I didn't know how many. So,
yeah.
Many different things. You had a 300 at the USBC mixed state tournament in 2016. I've run across you a lot of places. We bowled against each other a lot. I beat you very seldom. So
I was about to say, how does that worked out for you there lately, Kevin?
Not very good. She whips me pretty good. So
checking.
Yeah. So I think I may have beat her once at a tournament somewhere there. I can't remember. I think it was Concord or something.
Is that your claim to fame now, Kevin, that you beat her once?
One time, yeah.
Okay.
One out of the together. So she's pretty talented, Ryan. So we'll get back to the bowling, Jen. But this is one thing that I did want to talk to you about. And this kind of come up in our pre-meeting. So Ryan, this is going to interest you, I guarantee you. So Ryan's always challenging me to get more interesting guests on, and so far we've had the first 3 or 4 gentlemen had impressive bowling careers and great stories. And then we had Dennis Hacker on, who was a nuclear electrician or something like that, wasn't he, Ryan? So he lifted our intelligence up.
Like this.
Yeah. So, and then last week we had Spencer Robars, who has won every junior award, possible. So so I went to Jen, and this is very interesting to me. So she is a TV star. She was on the CBS Undercover Boss series. Her store, Fast Signs, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Fast Signs there in St. Louis was featured on Undercover Boss. And this is the part that I want to ask you about, Jen. So how did you get away with calling your boss a prima donna on national TV, and you get a raise out of the deal? How does that happen?
Well, first off, it wasn't. She's not. Well, I guess she's my boss. It was the CEO of the whole entire franchise. There's like
you are the
500
greatest if you can get away with that.
And so the whole process was just so weird. Like they came in and said, corporate sent on email and said, we're sending a marketing company out. They want to just interview. It was during the recession. So like businesses were not doing good. And they wanted to make a TV show about it, about how we're surviving through in the sign industry. And they sent this hot little chick out to do the interview. So all the guys were like, oh yeah, I'm going to interview with them. Oh yeah, hear my story of my business and da da da. And as soon as I sat down, the first thing I asked was, who's going to see this? And she said, nobody. I said, so not the franchise owner, not corporate, anybody. She's like, no, it's just for research. I'm like, perfect. So I just let her have it. I told her like their marketing sucks and this sucks and they don't help us and all this stuff I just bitched about basically. And they called me like a week later and they were like, we love your story. We want to feature you in this TV show, but there's some legal stuff. And so I got the paperwork and had my attorney look at it. And he's like, basically they're saying you can't sue them if they portray you in a way that you don't think should, is right. And I was like, okay, well, I should be fine. So I signed it and then they scheduled, the whole video taping of it. And they're like, this is small. Because the first thing I was like, is this Undercover Boss? And they were like, no. We're a small company. This is just, something we're going to present to a network and hope it sells.
You
I'm
were
like,
already skeptical that it might have been Undercover Boss to begin with.
Yeah, because I've watched the show for years. And they're like, it's a show called Second Chances, and you're going to be with this lady and teaching her what you do. I'm like, okay, this still seems weird. And they kept saying, we're small. We don't know if we're going to do this. Okay. So they show up with like 15 production guys, 3 sound guys, an RV, 5 minivans. I'm like, okay, this seems a little strange.
You're a small group. I get it.
That's real small. So we filmed all day, and the lady didn't look familiar to me at all. Like I had only been in the company at this point for maybe 4 years. I'd never been to a convention where she presents herself on stage. I didn't know what she looked like. I just had a job there, basically. I wasn't really involved in the whole franchise as I am now. And so later that night after we got done filming, I went on Facebook and I looked up her name after I researched what her freaking name was. I didn't even know. And I kind of put my hands around her picture. I'm like, I think that might have been her. The only thing that threw me off was they said the final taping would be in California. And on Undercover Bosses, all the ones I've seen, it's always at their corporate office. And that is in Texas for us. So that's the only thing that kind of threw me off. But I guess, I don't know. She loved me. I love her. She's a great lady, but I did call her prima donna because she was bitching about it being cold outside in December.
Okay,
I'm like, okay.
So here's my question. You're sitting there, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that's been in this situation, and God knows I have been, and they don't listen to me. Did they listen to you? Did they take any of your advice or change anything from what you said doesn't happen or needs to happen?
So the major thing I complained about was their marketing, because I had so many customers complain about, I'm getting junk mail from you. You need to stop, get me off your list. I think a year later, they hired a brand new marketing director. We rebranded the entire company, and all of our email marketing is beautiful, and it looks legit, and it's appeasing to the crowd that we're marketing to. And so, yeah, I would say they made a lot of changes for the better.
I'll listen to her.
I mean, just call someone a prima donna. Maybe that's what.
Well, we'll just say I got fired by email because someone didn't want to listen to what I said needed to have happen. So you're a hell of a lot further than I was at that point.
Oh man.
Well, Ryan,
that was awesome.
Yeah, it actually gets better because, like I said, I think Jen, if I read the piece right, Jen got a raise, and then the lady gave her, I don't know, X amount of dollars to go chase her dreams or something like that. So, I mean, she must have really liked Jen a lot. So, I haven't figured out how you can do that and still get a raise. So that's amazing to me. So,
Yeah,
Well, I think the part that really got her was after we had done our site survey for the company, we went bowling. And she saw my passion for it and saw how good I was. And she actually gave me, she specifically said at the end of the show that it was a certain amount to bowl, to pay for bowling and traveling and equipment and whatever I needed. And then the other part was to go on a romantic trip with my husband at the time, because we
I'll
never
have to
saw
look that
each
one
other.
up. Yeah, and you know what? It's amazing on those shows on how they do that, and they actually delve in and get to know their employees a little bit more, and
Right.
how they end up. You know, it's and granted, there's a lot of a lot of it that they want to do because it looks good in order to do it to
Yeah.
help employees, but there's a lot of them out there that just do it because it's the right thing to do, and they find out people that's had so much service that they've given the company that they feel like they need to get back. And I would think you just being straight, blunt, forward, and honest.
That's me.
I mean, yeah. I'd rather take that. Don't pull a punch. Tell me what you think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it too, like we went bowling, and one of the questions she said was, "How do you make time and juggle?" She's like, "You said you don't see Gary like 3 nights a week because you're bowling, he's bowling, you're playing softball, you're doing this." She's like, "How do you take something passionate and make the time for it?" And I said, "You just do. Like if you're passionate about it and you really want to do it, you just make that time. Like as busy as you are, you just make the time." And at that time, she hadn't seen her family since she started being the CEO of Fast Signs. So she started taking time to like make those trips and get back into horse riding that she loved and all this stuff. So it's like, it was a really big moment for her too. Like, I feel like she had a really good personal experience with the whole thing, more so than advertising Fast Signs.
Kind of opened her eyes up a little bit.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, well, Jen, I don't know you real well, but I think she could probably see that you were an honest person, and what you said is
Right.
really what you meant. So that probably
Yeah.
touched her. So I'd say that's probably what got her. So okay, well let's spin this around, and this is about bowling. We try to open the platform up to our guests, and learn more about their careers, what got them started, and all that. So. So let's go back to the 2006 Intercollegiate National Team title that your team won. I'm gonna set the stage a little bit. So you were bowling against, was it Florida Atlantic? Was that the team?
UCF.
Florida.
FSU.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
UFC. Sorry.
Yeah.
USD. Okay.
It's University of Central Florida.
Okay. It was a Central Florida team anchored by then Stephanie Nation, but now we all know her as Stephanie Johnson. So it wasn't like you was going up against, a rinky-dink team. So
She was the best, and I'm pretty sure she was bowler of the year that year.
yeah. So anyway, I think Ryan's got a clip queued up, a video clip of a piece of it. So we'll kind of play it and let you kind of walk us through.
I'll have to
What
go
you're
bits.
thinking.
So somehow I've actually forgot to stop this. I mean, I guess we could watch her throw a few.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, she wasn't too bad. We're not worried about the commercial here, but there we go. So we went to
It's around the 19-minute mark
Yeah.
was the first one, I
Yeah.
believe. So Jen, why don't you kind of tell us about, what's led up to this, what the team vibe was and all that, and just kind of talk us through the video clip.
Well, first off, we went undefeated in match play, which was like the coolest thing ever. And we were also the underdogs. So no one knew who the hell Lindenwood was until the year before when the guys won. So,
she trips that too.
I love it. So we kind of, just kicked ass. Like we came from nowhere. I don't even know. It was just the coolest experience ever. And we had such a good chemistry as a team. Our captain was amazing, Jess Less. She was the reason I came to Lindenwood. And UCF was freaking hard. Like they were an amazing team, obviously coached by Pat. She is like won coach of the year a bazillion times. They had a lot of talent, especially with Stephanie on the team. I don't know. It was one of those things where it finally all clicked. We had been fighting, and my freshman year, we came in third at nationals. That was like the biggest thing. up until this. And it was really nerve-wracking bowling on TV under those lights.
So this was the 9th frame of the second game, right? Where you wrapped it up?
Yeah, so this is basically, if I miss this, they have a real good chance to
Oh,
win.
I gotta pause this back a second. I want look at this. Look at the look on your face right here.
I'm like, God damn it.
we got to show that again. I mean,
I'm like, all I had to do was leave something easy, and this is what I do.
you're going
But
like
you
back.
but you walk up and make this spare like it was nothing. I mean, you make it look easy.
Yeah, I don't even know. You're like, I don't know if Kevin, if you've ever bowled on TV or like on tour or anything, but it was the most nerve-wracking thing. I mean, especially us, getting there. We had the perfect record up until then, and I'm like, you cannot get this far and just blow it now. So
You just made it look easy. You just
Yeah.
walked up there, free arm swing, and bam.
Now, the only time I bowled on TV, they had in Wichita, they had it was like a gold pin tournament where you had your qualifying in the house, and you had your house qualify, and then they had those that went to another house, and then you bowled, and then they took the top whatever, and somehow, by the grace of God, and the moon set in the right way, and the wind was blowing correctly, I actually led it, don't know how, and I missed a 4-pin and missed it left a 4-pin on the next one and made it, but I ended up losing by it just because of that 4-pin. But I remember, and it wasn't a big production like you had people down on both sides and everyone cheering and everything. It was kind of a golf setting type deal, but at least for me, I remember that when I got on it, it was just, once you got started, you kind of got into it, but in the back of your mind, you still try to keep, at least for me, you try to keep everything golf-esque. You didn't want to get too wild, but in your situation, when you have all your, teammates and everything in the crowd and everything, you could actually do that. You could actually explode if you wanted to or whatever and let your personality out.
Well, I don't know if you've ever been to a college tournament, but it's like a cheerleading competition.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
So-
Wichita State. I've been there plenty of times. I've seen those things going on.
Okay, so, and you have to also keep in mind that it felt this way at least, everybody wanted them to win.
Oh, yeah.
Like the only people that wanted us to win was our people, like from Lindenwood and our parents.
Now, where'd you guys bowl at? Where was this at?
That was Cherry Bowl at Rockford.
Okay, so I figured you'd be pretty close, that you'd have a lot of home crowd in there.
Not really. It was mostly just the players and their parents that made the trip there. I think they take 16 teams there, so it was all of the players and coaches and whatnot. But again, Stephanie Nation is still amazing, and she's unbeatable in my opinion. But the fact that I don't know, it's like the biggest accomplishment in my life for sure.
That was awesome. So something that I skipped. So let's go back. So prior to college, you had a pretty impressive high school career, from what I can understand.
Yeah.
I think you hold the Pennsylvania high school state all events record. Do you still hold that?
That I don't know, but I'll tell you, I did beat Jess's record too. She was my cat. She's who I went to London with.
Awesome. So let's go back a little bit. And how did it all start? How was it? Are you from a bowling family? But just walk us through how you got started, who meant a lot to you along the way, and what led up to going to Lindenwood. So.
Well, my dad bowled league on Saturday nights. My grandma and my uncle bowled league on Tuesday nights. And then later on, my stepdad was a bowler, and his brother-in-law was like semi-pro. And so, yeah, it definitely runs in my family. My grandma would take me up to the bowling alley on the weekends or on whenever she had me, and let me practice for free. And then my dad started bringing me to league because he had me every other weekend. So he would bring me up on Saturday nights. And I think I was about 10 years old. And I'm like, I want to bowl. I want to bowl. I want to bowl. Bub's been bringing me for practice. Let me bowl. Let me bowl. And he's like, fine, you can pay, you could pace, your score doesn't count. So I grabbed like this little 10-pound pink ball and I just started bowling with them and I was kicking their ass. And I was trying to, even now I'm like, I grab it and I try to twirl it as much as I can. And I was doing it then. And I started beating some of the guys on his team. And he's like, okay. So that year for Christmas, I got my Kmart special pink ball with a 1-ball bag. And
Was
some
that the
shoes.
Galaxy ball? The Kmart
I
Galaxy?
have no idea. I do not even remember. And they signed me up for a league. And then ever since then, it's just been nonstop. Like, it's so funny because, Kevin, I travel with Tim and Shay and all of the guys. Like, I'm always with them. It's funny because when I was in junior leagues, I was bowling with all the girls. And at one point, I remember going to the desk and saying, is there any way next year I can bowl with those guys over there? Because they were really good.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't know. Da, da, da. So that even started at a young age. Like, I just wanted to be with the best. Like, I wanted to bowl with the best because that made me bowl the best. And I don't know. So that started a long time ago. But then I started bowling what were JMAs in Pennsylvania, Junior Masters Association. So it was like what they call junior archways around here are. Yeah. So basically just tournaments on the weekends for junior bowlers. And it was once a month and it was somewhere different in Pennsylvania. So we would drive 2 hours or an hour or it'd be local or whatever. Won Rookie of the Year, my first year in that. And then got into high school and we didn't have a bowling team. And so there was my best friend at the time, Nathan Shively. His parents actually owned the bowling alley that we all bowled at. And so we were the same age, and his other best friend, Caleb, and like all these people were coming into the high school that were great bowlers. And we're like, what do we do? There's no team. So we went, my mom and Nathan's mom and a couple other parents went to the athletic board. And I remember being at that meeting, and the athletic director was the football coach, and he was kind of a dick. And he's like, well, we don't have any money in our budget for any other sports. Like, that's it, point blank, nothing. And so we're like, well, what if we fundraise for everything? I mean, we'll pay for the buses, we'll pay for lineage, we'll pay whatever we need to do. We'll fundraise and we'll do it ourselves. We can be a club sport. And so I think it took a couple meetings and convincing, but we finally got it midway through my freshman year. So we could start our team my sophomore year. And we did, and the team's still going, and they're still really good.
Awesome.
I think we had like 4 medalists the first year at state that we bowled. I have an all event state record, and I've won singles. I won team my senior year. So like, that's where it all and it's just to know that I was a part of starting it, starting a legacy, we'll say. And now that it's still going, like, it's just so cool. So that's how that kind of my junior part of bowling started. And then for Lindenwood, the JMAs that I was bowling, there was a girl, Jess Lesaganich, and her boyfriend, Josh. Him and I were good friends before I knew Jess, but she had bowled for Shippensburg University, and I wanted to go with her, but she said that the team was folding soon. So she said, but I heard about this school in Missouri that's going to have a really good team. And I'm like, Missouri? I'm not going 10 hours away. No way. First off, I'm an only child. My mom would kill me. So she's like, let's just go look at it. They're going to be really good. And I said, okay. So we piled in a van and we drove 10 hours and we came to Lindenwood and we took the campus tour. And I'm pretty sure we signed that day because I loved the campus. I mean, I was looking at other schools like Penn State. I mean, they're huge. North Carolina A&T I looked at. I was looking at Pikeville, just all kinds of different places. But Lindenwood just felt real homey. I don't know if you've ever been on campus, but it's really small and it's, wooded and quaint. It's just so nice. And that kind of drew me in. So that's how I got here. And I never left.
Well, I got to thinking, you being from Pennsylvania, and you said you're in St. Louis now. They can't be too happy with the Penguins and the Blackhawk banners sitting behind you. I mean, that's
Well,
like.
I will always be a Pens fan, but that Blackhawks crap, that's not mine. That's a no-no, but I felt bad because Shay bought me that Pens one for housewarming, and I was like, well, now
Well,
Steve
are,
feels.
are these okay to you? I mean, those.
Oh, sure, because I don't give a crap about football.
Oh. Okay. All right, well.
It's hockey and bowling. That's it.
Well, I do have a Rutgers hat for a friend of mine that lives in New Jersey. Is that okay?
Sure.
I mean, they're not a threat to anybody.
No.
So, all right, I was just checking. I just wanted to find out where I stood with you.
Well, Jen, you definitely. I didn't know that you had started your high school team, so that's awesome. You've left that legacy behind. There's something else that you do that I want you to talk about a little bit. That's special to you, and it's special to me too, because I knew Gary, but you run the Gary Helferstay Memorial Scholarship Tournament every year. We try to come support you in that. I think I've been there most years since I learned about it. So why don't you talk a little bit about Gary and the tournament, and what you do for junior bowling in the St. Louis area. Not trying to get you emotional.
Yeah, I know.
But
no, it's fine.
But won't you share that with our guests and let them know about what time of the year that tournament is if people want to bowl it.
Okay, so Gary was my husband. He is the youngest St. Louis Hall of Famer to be inducted. It was the year that they dropped the age requirement and then put it back in play the next year. But I'm glad he won it then, because who knows, he may have not, well, he wouldn't have made it to 40. So he passed away. And so I thought I would do something in his honor and help the junior bowlers. So every year I run a tournament. It's always on his birthday weekend in January. It's usually, his birthday's the 20th, but it's, 19th, 18th, whatever falls around there. And I sell raffle tickets. I try to get as many things donated to me to raffle off, jerseys and balls and baskets and stuff. And the people have been so great throughout the years in donating things. So I sell tickets for those, and that helps raise money for the scholarship fund that we started under his name. And we give away $1,000 to a female and $1,000 to a male junior bowler every year at the St. Louis Hall of Fame awards ceremony. So
well, it's cool.
Been good. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to cut to the chase. If someone has something that they want to donate, they want to get in contact with you or something to find out when and where and what you need or something like that, how do they get a hold of you?
Facebook, everyone, that's like how everyone communicates now. There's also an email, but I really suck at checking it. It's like Gary Helferstay Memorial Scholarship Fund at Gmail or some shit. It's super long. But definitely on Facebook, shoot me a message. There is an event page for the Gary Helferstay Tough Guy, and I call it the Tough Guy because he used to always give Tim and Shay shit. Oh, tough guy, huh? So I want to, and Gary was a grinder. Like, he didn't have to average, strike a lot. He was a grinder. That's all he was, and he did strike a lot too. But I wanted it to be hard. I wanted it to be on a sports shot of some sort. And I wanted it to be a grind. I wanted it to be a lot of games. I wanted it to be really hard. So that's kind of the whole format of the tournament. But I do put that event page out like the day after the tournament each year for the next year, because we've had some scheduling conflicts, and I just want to make sure that everyone's aware.
Well, I will say, if there's, I don't know, I probably figure something out, but if I guess if anyone needs a way to get a hold of you, I guess, Kevin would be a way, or maybe if they can't find you on Facebook or something, maybe one of the bowling alleys that you bowl at, and they can leave a message and say, hey, if you can get this tour, we want to get something donated, or maybe at the bowling alley where you have the tournament at.
Yeah, so it's usually at Concord, but this year we're moving it to St. Charles. I think that was our home house, and it just feels more like home there. And now that Dan has it, he's helped me out from the get-go. Like, he's like, Jen, whatever you need to move all these tables around, and whatever you need. and he, donates a lot of his time and money to the tournament. So I appreciate that. So now that that's his, I want to have it at St. Charles. So it can either be St. Charles, if they know Dan Beeman, really, it's not.
Yeah, I would say that'd probably be the best way to get a hold of you. Just call St. Charles Lanes in St. Charles and say, hey, give a message to Jen, have her get a hold of us. We want to get something donated. I think that might be the best way to get a hold of you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I've got one Gary story. I mean, it's not really a story, but I do remember Gary. I bowled against him a lot, and he did. I mean, he liked him tough. Yeah, if the tougher, the better for him. He was a grinder, and I always appreciated that in him. So we try to do everything we can by bringing a few guys up there to support it. So
I appreciate that. I really do. The first year I didn't know what to expect. And then the second year it got bigger, and then the third year it got bigger, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm doing it. So it really feels good, like, to do it in his name. And, I'm not in it to make any money off it or anything, or be a tournament director, because I actually don't do anything but try to get all the donations together. And that's actually pretty hard, because I feel like it's the same people, and I love that they're doing it. I just feel bad after so many years, like, oh, she's asking again. Oh, again, what do I do this year? So if there was different people that would be willing to help, or more sources, that would be great. So I just love doing it, and it'll be my favorite forever.
You do a great job at it, and I don't think anybody cares or minds that you ask them. So I would just keep leaning on them friends of yours. So let's twist.
Just make sure real quick. Make sure you call them a prima donna. That way you get the good stuff.
I'll get that extra.
There you go.
I wouldn't want to call Jen a prima donna. She
can call them a prima donna.
She might set you straight. So
yeah, that's not even close.
Not happening? Okay.
So, but anyway, let's talk about, where is Jen Helferstay's future going to be at in bowling? Are you considering anything on the professional level? What is your plans? What's your goals? Maybe share that with us.
I would love to bowl on tour. That has been my dream since I graduated college. I bowled a couple stops. I bowled the Queens. I bowled the U.S. Open. Unfortunately, with work, that's priority number one. I only get so many vacation days, and a lot of these girls, they either work 3 days a week or they don't because they're on tour. And I just can't afford to do that. So I was planning on going to the Cherry Bowl. There was a stop up there. I think it was this month, and I don't think it's happening because that's where we won nationals. And that, I'll kill that place.
Yeah.
I want to go. I don't care what pattern it's on. But yeah, obviously that's all canceled. But I would love to bowl on tour more and at least do a couple stops, or, I always like to hit the Queens up. I think that's one of the most prestigious tournaments. I love the format, 3 days, 3 different squad times. You're all, I don't know. I like a lot of games because, I'm not shooting 250 every game. But yeah, I would love to do that. And, one day I hope to maybe be inducted into the Hall of Fame here.
Yeah.
That would be one of my goals for sure.
I think that's gonna happen. I wouldn't worry too much about that one.
Real quick,
yeah,
we do have the chat page, and I keep forgetting that we have to mention that we have the chat page. If you have a question or something to chime in there.
Oh, boy.
And Kieran Kennelly, am I saying that right? Kennelly?
Mm-hmm.
Says that sounds like Jay, hockey and bowling. So had to throw that in there.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, actually, her son won the Gary Scholarship last year. He was the male recipient.
Nice.
And Jeremy's awesome. He actually bowled the Gary tournament. He was the only junior bowler, I think, or maybe there was 2, but I think he was the only one. And he cashed.
There you go.
Pretty sure he cashed. So he is awesome. He is a grinder too. He does not give up on anything. So he has a bright future in the sport for sure.
Awesome. So the Rodman Championship that you won, back in 2015. I've never bowled the Rodman, but I've heard about it. It's a pretty prestigious tournament, I believe. I mean, you can correct me if it's not, but so kind of walk us through that win of how it all took place.
So that's when the Hypercell, the original, came out, and I got it drilled brand new for this tournament, and I didn't throw it one time before I went down there. And I basically averaged like 260 for the weekend. I led qualifying. I went through the step ladder. That tournament actually meant a lot to me because at the time my grandpa was in the hospital, and it's something he was like my number one fan. Like, he supported me through everything. He came to every softball game, every volleyball match, every bowling tournament I had. And when I found out that he was in the hospital, I was like, this one, I got to do it for him. Like, I have to do it for him. And I had to bowl Nan Fritchie in my first match. And she's tough, and she's won tough. The Rodman before.
Yeah. Oh.
And I'm like, oh God, Nan, like, why did I have to be Nan? But it ended up that I beat her by like 10 sticks. It wasn't a lot because she needed to strike in the 10th and didn't. And then I was bowling, God, was it Anita Mann? I don't know if you know her. She's a Team USA, bowled for Wichita. Anita Arnett now. You hear of her? She's amazing. And I couldn't miss. Like, it was one of those tournaments where I threw the Hypercell the entire time and I never missed. It was, again, one of those things like you would never expect to happen. It was just like a freaking miracle. And it was a big honor to win. I mean, people from all over the country come to that tournament, from Florida and Texas and, you know, California. People fly in for it. I mean, it's big, and there's so much money inside action down there. So yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a memorable one. I did it for my grandpa, and yeah, it meant a lot because I was basically untouchable all weekend, and that doesn't happen very often. So,
I think it happens quite a bit for you, I think. So
I don't know, not like that.
I see your name a lot. So
I think we need to take a look at the area that Jen is in, because when we were talking before we started, she's got a popcorn machine off her left shoulder. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, if anybody knows me, and Shay can contest, because me and him could eat a tub of popcorn ourselves. Like,
a lot of butter.
Disgusting.
A lot of butter.
It is so good.
There you go.
So that's our thing.
And then back to your right, you already have your wine rack. Go ahead, show it.
Oh.
You got the wine rack going on, and
oh yeah.
I mean, come on. And I'm already yelling at Kevin, going, dude, we could have gone down there and we could have done it on site, and I could have taken a vacation day. We could have been.
Oh, do you want to see a beauty?
A Rhino Gold. Wow.
There's 3 of them.
Wow.
Guess what those are?
How? Those are Gary's.
Yeah, there's 3.
Now,
yeah,
obviously, those aren't original. Are those
yes,
original?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're originals.
Wow.
Gary took them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. And he had a 4th one, and it cracked. But this was what I got left. It's crazy.
Wow. I remember when the Gold Rhino came out, and that was just like, they came out with the purple, they came out with the teal, and everyone loved them. That was like the 1-2 punch. And then they came out with the Gold Rhino, and everybody had to have one.
Gary talked about the purple Rhino all the time.
Yeah, it didn't matter if you bowled 110 or 250. You had to have the Gold Rhino. It was just it was like in high school. If you didn't have white tennis shoes, you weren't cool. So if you didn't have a Gold Rhino, you weren't cool. That's about what it amounted to.
Yeah, that was before my time, unfortunately.
Well, we are talking about the early 80s to mid 80s, so.
Okay, so I mean, I was born in '85, so.
Yeah, we won't.
I'm ball in my hand yet.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, I graduated high school in '85, so that makes me.
Yeah, same here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. We'll bypass.
So anyway, since we're talking about bowling balls, Ryan, let's just jump into one segment that we added to our show that I really like, and
Oh, yeah.
I think our guests that watch do too. So it's called What's in Your Bag, Jen. So right now, if we could take a look at your bowling bags, your 2 triples that you have there for tournaments. You got 6 balls. What would they be? Start with the most hooking ball down to your spare ball, if that's one that you carry. So
Okay.
start with your most powerful ball and work your way down. What would those 6 balls look like?
Well, right now, what I had in my bag for today. Well, most hooking, I would say I have a physics pin down with some surface. So that's like hook at my toe if I can't get any reaction. My phase 2 is by far my go-to ball for any situation. That ball is like stupid good. It's good on everything, like a house shot or a tournament. It doesn't matter. It's just good.
It's like the
Do
third
you have
wicket.
any surface?
I did not touch surface on that. No.
So the phase 2 is just out of the box.
Yeah.
And
This
what
is
about
like
your
the third
physics? Do
week
you got
in a
any
row we've
surface?
heard about the phase 2.
Yeah, the physics has a little bit of surface on it. I think it's probably I think I actually hit with 500 when I was bowling a sport tournament out in Frontier a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Holy moly.
And then yeah, that'll literally hook at your toe. And then I got a phase 3 because that ball is the shit. An all road, which I threw all last weekend and averaged 240 with Kevin Strum and that doubles. That was like I literally threw it all week, all day. What else is in there?
So that's your 4 balls, top 4. So your bottom 2, what would they be?
High Road X.
Okay.
Threw that a little bit today. And then my spare ball, I just have a mix.
Okay. All right.
So-
Good
so
lineup
It's my
there.
6.
Are you saying since this phase 2 has been like mentioned for the last 3 weeks, are you saying I need just to get a phase 2? Because I have a phase 3.
You don't even, oh, God, yes. You have to have that ball. Like, it is so versatile. It's unbelievable.
Well, I have the phase 3 and I have an MVP Pearl.
Okay.
And so I've kind of been tweaking a little bit on what I'm getting, and like I said, the phase 2's been talked about.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, the phase 2 is in a different spectrum. That's your benchmark. So if you don't have one of them, or a IQ Tour, or
Right.
even a High Road, an Axiom could even fit in there. If you don't have one of them, Ryan, that's one you definitely need to add. So
All right, I'll
Yeah.
I'll go to Bowler Smart and I'll order a phase 2. I'll just get it done.
I forgot about my Idol Pearl, too. That is one of my favorite balls as well. But I hit that with 2000. It's garbage without surface, in my opinion. I wouldn't say garbage. I shouldn't have said that.
It doesn't match up with
it's
your
better
game
for me.
properly.
It's better for me with 2000 on it. That I really, really like that ball, too. So.
awesome. A great arsenal there. Sounds very familiar to a lot of people I know. So you got one asymmetrical in there with the physics, and then everything
Yeah.
else is more symmetrical. Do you find the symmetrical balls roll better for you? I know they do for me typically.
Yeah.
I use a lot more symmetrical than I do asymmetrical, but there are times I need one, especially
Oh, yeah.
if I go to the PBA 50 stuff. They put so much oil on the lanes, you almost have to throw asymmetrical stuff. But anything around Missouri, mid-Missouri,
Mhm.
St. Louis area that's on a house condition, symmetrical works much better for me. Is that what you see?
Yeah, definitely. You know, my game is straight and straighter. So something that's really rolly is always good for me, especially for carry. I mean, I can get to the pocket with anything, but when it comes to carry, I mean, something really smooth and rounded is always best for me. So I typically stick with a lot of symmetrical stuff.
Okay. So another segment that we threw into the show that we like a lot and the guests have responded well to is if you're going to drill another ball right now, what would that ball be?
Well, in the ball raffle this weekend, Steve won me a wild streak.
Oh,
So that'll be it.
and Kevin's just all smiles.
Yeah.
Well, he buys these tickets, and I swear every ball raffle he gets in, he freaking wins one. And he's got like all this equipment, and he just started bowling like a year ago. So he's averaging 180. I mean, it's not horrible. But so yesterday he got it, and I was like, hey, Was that mine? And he was like, you can have it. I don't need another one. I'm like, so yeah, I'm gonna probably be taking that to the pro shop this week.
There you go.
Well, you're gonna throw it well. I guarantee you that. I just love mine as I've told Ryan before. I've been bowling league the last few years in Fulton, the Fulton Bowling Center, and I could not shoot a 300 in that house for nothing. It's been tough carrying and all that. And I drilled a wall streak a long time ago, but I just never gave it a chance. Well, finally one night in league, I was just frustrated, so I picked it up. I said, I'm going to throw it. So I threw it. That first night I was able to pop a 300. First one in 10 years in that house. So I said, man, there's something to this. I come back the very next week, the first game, I shoot another 300. So I'm sold on the wall streak, and I think you'll like that a lot. So
good. So how should I have it drilled? Because I'm probably the best dumb bowler you've ever met. I don't know anything. That's one secret about me. I don't know much about like drillings and layouts and what, like, I think one time Shay was like, where's the pin on that ball? I'm like, above, like up. And he looked, it's literally like kicked out to the side. He's like, oh, above the fingers, really? I'm like, I don't know. I know it's just not down below it. So yeah, I'm pretty good at making ball choices when I still don't really understand it all.
So
really
if I was to go to you and say, go ahead and do about like a 55 by 4.5 by 30,
No.
your brain would just.
Be like, are we doing algebra or trigonometry or what the hell are you saying? And Scott Hampshire, who's drilling my stuff, he has taken the time to try to explain it to me. And I think if I did it every day, just like anything else, I would get it. But he's like, watch Mo's videos. I'm like, okay, I'll do that in my free time. I just don't get it. But, he helps me a lot making decisions. And I'll bring a ball in there. He's like, oh, another symmetrical. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm like, I don't know. Put holes in it. I mean, what do you want to do? I don't know. Strike. I mean, he's like, that's what everyone says. I'm like, I know. But really, I'm really bad at making those decisions. And I'm like, I don't know. It's brand new. I just bought it because it's new. So.
So what you're telling me is that you're a lot like me, that in school, if they would have taught science in the realm of bowling, your grade average, your GPA would have been out of the roof.
way higher than it was.
Yes, exactly. I'm the same way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't understand any of that. And he is literally taking it step by step. Like, okay, now we're going to measure this. This is this. I'm like, okay. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you what he said.
Easy thing. On symmetrical equipment, all you need to know is pin to pap. That's it.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the one thing that you do know a lot about, Jen, is picking the right ball and striking. And that's the most important piece of the puzzle. Let your pro shop guy figure the rest of it out. You keep doing what you're doing.
That way you have someone to blame if something doesn't work right.
Right.
All right, Ryan. We've covered quite a bit. I know we're getting into the fast 5 questions, which usually
we're going 10 frames with her. We're not going fast 5. We're going 10 frames with her.
And okay, I like that. I've got enough here to get through 10, I think. So.
I'll come up with a few. I've been listening to James Hilton with a lot of his stuff. So I've got some questions off that we can go through, because I have a feeling that some of these might be appropriate.
Okay, good.
I'm nervous.
I'm going to start us out here, okay? I'll
right.
start out easy here, okay?
All right.
So you are our first female guest, so we can't let you off the hook without asking you this question. So who was your celebrity crush growing up?
This is so weird. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey is the funniest freaking guy ever, and I am in love with Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. That is my favorite movie of his, and I just think, I don't know, he's just so funny. It was my favorite.
I think, to me, the one movie he made that made me laugh more than anything else was Liar Liar.
Oh yeah.
When he's having a fight with that blue pen, trying to say it's red, and he's doing this with it.
Or he's kicking his own ass in the bathroom or whatever.
My own ass. And,
Yeah.
and the best part, when he gets in the elevator and that gal, he goes, new to the building? She goes, yes. Everyone is so nice. Well, that's because you have nice boobs. I mean, Jack, mommy. that was one of the best. All right. You go up to St. Peter. What do you want to hear him say to you?
Welcome. Go away.
You're
I
lucky
want
you
him
made
to flip. Yeah, I want him to flip the green light on and let me in. So.
Right.
So you didn't have to
Exactly.
worry anymore?
Okay, Ryan, that's number 2. So number 3, so we don't lose track. I always forget where we're at, so I'll try to say the number. So number 3, if you can endorse one product outside of bowling, what would it be?
And it can't
Well,
be
probably.
popcorn.
That's so embarrassing. Probably something in softball because that's my second favorite sport. I don't know. Maybe like equipment.
Okay. What position did you play in softball?
Pitcher, obviously.
Catcher.
Awesome.
Just that's one motion. It's the exact same.
I was a
a
fast
little-
pitch catcher. I'll get a glove,
Oh.
you get a glove, I'll go behind the plate, and we'll just sit there and throw
Oh
the
no,
ball
no,
all
there's
day
no
long.
fast pitch. I play slow pitch, man. I didn't
Oh.
I'm not all into that. Mm-mm.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I was a sissy. Well,
Oh.
no. This is how it went down. They did not have adult fast pitch leagues in Pennsylvania. So when I was in high school, I couldn't. I mean, could only play slow pitch, so I just stuck with it. I wasn't gonna go back and forth and screw me all up.
I'm so disappointed. I thought we had something going there.
I'm sorry.
The most annoying sound you've ever heard.
Someone cracking their gum. I can't stand it. When people are in the car with me on road trips and they pop it one time and I just give them that look like, no, this isn't happening.
So the ones that actually chewing gum and they pop it like 3 or 4 times before they start chewing it again?
Or they'll blow a bubble and like suck it in and like pop it. Nope. Not with me, you're not.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Number 5, not to put you on the spot because I know you have a lot of friends that you bowl with. So, but who is your favorite, your best all-time doubles partner in bowling?
Oh my God, that is not fair.
I know it's not fair, but
Is this based off of talent or personality?
this is whatever you want it to be.
Oh,
You know you're gonna get some messages after this show, don't
this is
you?
not fair. Can I give you 2 answers?
You can.
Okay, Dave Cummings because he's freaking hilarious.
Okay.
And bowling holiday doubles with him is like a comedian show. Like it's just, and it makes you feel so much more relaxed and you're laughing and having a good time. So you're not thinking about, so much pressure on you. It's holiday doubles. I don't know, the biggest tournament around. So because of that, I love bowling with Dave. But second or second, whatever, would be Shay, just because he's like my best friend and he's amazing and we bowl good together. So
That's that's 2 pretty good ones, and for 2 different reasons, believe me, Andy.
Yeah, definitely different.
Yeah,
reasons.
for 2. But Dave's no slouch though, so.
Right, no. He's and he will tell you after I averaged 260 at holiday doubles and then started threatening him that I was going to find a new partner. He has now out averaged me the last 2 years.
There you go.
So he won't let me forget it. Yeah.
So either calling your boss a prima donna or threatening your doubles partner actually works out well for you.
So you don't know me, that's kind of my rep. I'm kind of mean.
Okay. Well, that leads into my next question. And I already know the answer on my part due to personal experience, but from what you know, is it true what they say about fiery redheads?
Oh yes, absolutely yes. If you ask anybody in St. Louis that's not my close friend, they will say, whether I've talked to them before or not, she hates me. She's a bitch. Even if I haven't said two words to them. So, I'm one of those people that I don't really, I don't know how to say this. If you get to know me, I'm freaking awesome and I'm nice and I'm a good time. But I get fired up. I mean, yeah, it is true, especially when I'm bowling. And that's really when people see me in this, stone cold face, because I'm focused, and that's my mindset. I'm not there to, in between, breaks, or, at the beginning, I'm saying hi to everybody and hugs and blah, blah, blah. But when it's game time, it's game time. So, a lot of people have actually come up to me and said, man, you're like really intimidating. I was afraid to come talk to you. And I'm like, oh, really? It just made me feel bad. Like, I was just bowling. I don't know. I got that RBF or what, but yeah, it is true. I get fired up. I'm crazy.
I was scared of you for a long time, but I kind of got to know you a little bit better, so I'm not as scared of you now. So
Perfect.
all right. So who is your favorite bowler of all time? It could be professional, it could be a family member, who's your favorite bowler?
Liz Johnson.
That's a good answer.
I like her game.
It's simple, and she plays straight, and it's, she works her ass off too, and she's a grinder. Like I've crossed with her a couple times at the Queens, and she's another one that she doesn't really, even with her friends around or people she may know from being on tour, she doesn't talk to anybody when she's bowling. And that's pretty intimidating, but she is a beast.
Yeah, I like her game too. I've tried to play straighter with my game, and just kind of watching her timing and everything. It's like she's shortened up the game to the point where she's reading 30, 35, maybe 40 feet. Mm-hmm. She's really shortened the game up, and that, to me, for her, that just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, she's literally just setting the ball down and I'm pretty sure she may look at the dots. I don't know for sure, but
yeah, at the foul line.
She just lays it down, and it's flawless.
Okay, being from Pittsburgh, obviously, I would think you'd be a seafood fan.
Yes.
Your favorite seafood?
Shrimp.
Not even
Shrimp.
a question. Now,
no.
Is the shrimp
so
in St.
versatile.
Louis as good as it is in Pittsburgh?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, I was just checking.
Actually, my favorite seafood place to go is a place called Captain George's down in Myrtle Beach. We used to go there with my family, and it was kind of like a seafood buffet, but it was all you can eat crab legs. And I love crab legs now, but I didn't so much when I was younger. But I've always been a fan of shrimp, so that had to be my first answer.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, number 9. This is my last question. So, if we could take a look at your music playlist right now, what would be the top song on there?
You're putting me on the spot. Popular Monster.
Popular Monster. Okay.
It is. I'm a metalhead.
Are you really? Wow.
Yeah. So Gary really brought that out more in me than before, but I think I bought my first Rob Zombie CD when I was like 12, 14. It was his first album. My dad had the subscription to the CD warehouse where you can like get 10 CDs for a penny.
Oh my goodness.
So I all the time, and I'd look at the album cover because that's all you had to go by, and I was like, man, that looks badass, I'm gonna get it. And I got it, and I put it in my computer and hit play, and the first song I think is Super Beast, and I was like, what did I get? Like, what is this devil music? And then I just loved it. So I mean, I've always liked heavy metal, but I'm pretty versatile in everything. I like country because of my mom. I like, classic rock because of my dad. I like rap because that's what was popular in high school, and I like metal. So and we used to go to the symphony. I mean, it's so broad that there's not a specific type ever, but yeah.
So you're kind of like me. You could go from Yanni to Metallica in a switch like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have the Nutcracker soundtrack CD somewhere. I mean, it just, I don't know, it's just so wide range.
All right, number 10. This is it.
Yay.
Your favorite curse word.
Definitely fuck. I say it like every other word. If anyone in my family would tell you, I'm just like my grandma, my dad's mom. She is cussed like a sailor, and I am the way I am because of her. My mom's side was super sweet and quiet, and my dad's side was just I grew up with 3 uncles and my dad and my grandma who raised the 4 boys. So I mean, the mouth, the attitude, it's all from them. But that makes me who I am.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you another one on this. I'm gonna say that you left a stone 8, you spared it, you've got your fill shot. So I got to ask one more.
Okay.
What's your favorite beer? I'm surprised you haven't pulled up your beer and had a drink during this whole thing. Yingling. Really?
A little taste of home.
Is that where it's from? From Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Not Pittsburgh, but it's Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Okay. It's kind of towards Scranton, like Shays area. Rolling Rock was brewed right by me in Latrobe.
Yeah.
It was like about 10 minutes from my dad's house, and that's all he drinks, and I think it's garbage. But this, I bring home about 10 cases every Christmas when I drive home.
We have Yingling in Kansas City. You don't have it in St. Louis?
No, you do not.
Yes. If I remember right, I remember seeing it.
I thought it only went to like Tennessee.
I could be wrong, but I would remember a liquor store that I worked at here in Olathe that would have Yingling.
Oh my God!
I'll have to double check. I'll tell you what. I'll make a deal with you. I'll make a deal with you. I want to bowl an under over 50s tournament with you.
Okay.
If you bowl a tournament with me, I will search high and low for Yingling. And I will bring as much Yingling with me so you can take home with you.
Okay. Deal.
All right. I have to find one. Now, there's one next weekend, and I'm already booked up for that one. But the next one in Kansas City that they have, I'm calling you.
All right, let me know.
And we'll get it done.
Okay.
Hey, Jen, you have been fantastic. I told you had nothing to worry about. So
Albert says he has it in Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana's the furthest. I'm pretty sure it comes.
Okay, just throw that out there.
So you all get that worked out. So,
Okay.
So we'll give you the last word here. Anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to, share with people that people may find interesting about you, or something you're passionate about that we didn't discuss. So.
Well, it's not really important, but I'm happy to say that I finally signed with Storm last year. And that's something I've been working for years and years and years. I had multiple offers from other companies, and I just kept saying no. And it wasn't that I, didn't appreciate it. It's just that I had a brand that I loved, and 2 of my best friends throw. So, when we travel together, it's easy to talk about equipment and what are you throwing and how'd you drill this? And not that I understand, that's why I asked them. And, it's so nice to have Tim and Shay on the same team and know that we can talk about stuff and, hey, have you thrown this yet? Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll get that. What does it do? So yeah, it was really cool for Roy Turner and Scott Hampshire to get me on staff. It really meant a lot to actually have the opportunity to represent the best company.
Yes, I'd agree with you 100%. Well deserved, and should have been a long time ago in my book. So
I appreciate that.
Ryan, and I'll say, hey, best guest we've had so far, without a doubt. This has been the most fun, and we were talking about you you know, as soon as you logged in and we started talking, and I could tell right off the bat, I'm like, okay, she's badass, she's cool, she gets it, she likes to have fun. This is going to be a hell of a show. I could already tell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super easygoing. You know, again, like I said, a lot of people think I'm intimidating or whatever they think, but I really am a nice person, and I really love the sport more than anything. And that's where my focus is always at tournaments. So I might come off as, you know, conceited bitch, but when you get to actually talk to me, it's just me.
And you're the first one to drop an F-bomb on the show. I love it.
Oh God,
I love it.
sorry.
No one else. There is no other guest that we've had that is more suitable to drop the first F-bomb.
Then a crazy
Even in
redhead.
a question, it was perfect. The cherry has been broken. That's all I can
There
say.
you go. Perfect.
But no, I will say this has been the funnest show that we've had, and I mean, we're definitely gonna have you back again sometime, and it may be in a realm of just we can't talk layouts or anything like that. You've already discussed that,
No.
so we'll have to figure another way to bring you back, or maybe we'll bring your pro shop operator over here, and the four of us will try to explain to you how to understand layouts and. You know,
The school of drilling for Jen. No good.
something like that, something in that realm. But yeah,
Oh,
Kevin,
man.
you hit a home run with Jen. She's super cool, and I'm definitely going to hold her to the over under 50 doubles deal or something, and I'm going to fight my ass off to find some Yingling for her.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. You know, out of everyone you could have asked, I would have never thought it would be me. So I appreciate it a lot for you thinking of me.
You're very welcome. I when we had this idea of doing this broadcast and this podcast, you were definitely on my list of people that I wanted to ask. Didn't know if you'd say yes or not because, you know, like I said, we're not close friends. I think we're friends, but we're just not real close. So I wasn't sure what you'd think about it. But like I said, we're just trying to give you a platform to share your career. I know people say, well, I don't need the slap on the back or the, you know, good job or whatever, but everybody enjoys it. I don't care what they say. I say it all the time, but we really like to be recognized, and you had a tremendous career so far, and it's only getting started, I think. So your sky's the limit for you, and I think if professional bowling is what you want to do, I think you've got a spot there. So just keep working at it.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. My game definitely needs work for sure, especially after this break that we had. It's been rough the last couple tournaments. I mean, I've bowled great. It's so weird. I feel like I'm throwing like crap, but I'm scoring awesome. Maybe fine. I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely things I need to work on to compete in tournaments like that, because, you know, a lot of those girls get the ball into a roll super early and they read the lane. I fire bullets down there. The ball never reads the lane. So it's like, yeah, if I'm going to bowl in these tougher patterns, I'm going to have to learn that stuff. So
It's always easier to pull back the power a little bit than try to get more on it. So I think you're in a good spot in that.
yeah. Yeah. So that's just things that I need to work on in the future. But
Well, like I said, it's been a fun time, and next week, Kevin, we're gonna have to figure out. I guess next week we're gonna have to be off because we're both gonna be in Lee Summit for the final tournament spot for the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour. I'm not sure. Now I'm gonna have the stuff with me. I'm gonna have the broadcast stuff. We're gonna broadcast the finals. We could actually do it there. We could actually do it live. But
Yeah, we could.
So
That'd be a
I
first.
depending on the timing and everything and what they have going on, we're not sure. Next week might be an off week, but I don't know. I will maybe we'll just do unless Menini comes in and wins it. You know what? I just got to thinking, if things work out right, we could get Mr. Patton on finally. We won't have to worry about getting him set up with Zoom.
That's true. We could do that.
oh, Lord.
Hey, I don't know if you heard it, Jen, but I had a 15-hour trip from here to El Paso with Mr. Patton.
I'm so sorry. So sorry about that.
And we will say he did get a speeding ticket in Midland.
Oh,
I will do this. I'll just go ahead and say that the Tom Patton story. We're driving. I've been driving from here, and we get just north of Midland, and so he goes ahead and switches. He's going to drive, and I said, hey, the speedometer is about 3 mile an hour slower than what you're actually doing, and the cruise control works. All right, no problem. Never use a cruise control. Actually goes. He's doing 10 over because evidently he forgot about it, and the cop pulls him over, finds out where we're going. Oh, we're just going to El Paso for a tournament. Gives him a ticket. Bull's great in El Paso. Wins all this money and everything. So we're driving back up, and I go, hey, Tom, I've just figured out where you could, spend some of that money from the brackets. He goes, where's that? I said, pay for the ticket. Yeah, you're right. So,
oh man.
there you go. That one's for you, Jen. I figured you'd appreciate that one. Once you had that, I saw that reaction about possibly getting Patton on.
Yeah.
So, real quick, John Marcellus says, great job with one of my favorite female bowlers. And see you guys next week. And Albert Ginsburg just laughing at Tom.
Yeah.
So, yep, John's going to be out there, and we had John. He's a great guy, so we're going to see him next weekend. Jen, thanks again. Great show.
Thank you guys so much.
One of the best shows we've had, and I definitely a person that I haven't met and I have to meet. If anything, I got to buy her beer regardless of what it is.
There you go.
If you want to get in with Jen and a fiery redhead, buy her a beer. She's a happy gal.
That's right. Amen.
With a big bucket of highly buttered popcorn, right?
Popcorn and beer. Oh, you got me.
There you go. So that's going to do it for this edition of Duncan Rags. Jen, thanks again. Great time.
Thank you.
Good meeting you. Kevin, you hit a home run with this. And I will see you next weekend at Lee Summit on Sunday. Anyone that wants to watch the finals, Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, it's on Facebook. Kevin, I think you'll have the link to it when we do the finals. I will put it on my Facebook, and hopefully, to me, I'd really like to see me and Kevin meet in the finals because both of us are in top 5 in points, and get a little extra bonus from me. I think that'd kind of cool if we duked it out for 1 and 2. I think that.
Yeah, we could just have maybe put the broadcast a championship match between us as our show.
As our Duncan Rag. You know what? You know what? I have wireless mics. I can put us both. I can wire us both up, and we could do it that way and just talk in between shots. That would
you don't want to hear what I say in between some of my shots. I believe.
We got a fiery redhead that just dropped an F-bomb. You think they're going to worry about anything we can say?
I can match her when I'm competing. So
oh, trust me, I get on myself pretty bad. So I got to tell you what, this would be a nice little 3-man team here with the verbiage walking off the lanes if one of us are doing bad. So we may have to look into that sometime. So, all right, that's going to do it for today. Jen, thanks again for joining us. Kevin, you hit a home run with this one, and we will see you Sunday at Lee Summit. Not sure what we're going to do next Sunday. We may not. We'll have something figured out, and we'll let you know. So until the next show, that's this edition of Duncan Rags, and we'll see you guys next time. See you guys later.
Thanks.